Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into my official NFL Week 16 picks and predictions, where I predict the final score of every NFL matchup. And it is Christmas. We've got some Christmas Day games. We've got a little Thursday night action here, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Guys, just like I predicted, Trevor Lawrence experiencing an absolute breakout. They're heading to East Rutherford to take on the Jets. But guys, I've got major concerns about this game in terms of the weather. Heavy rain expected here in the area, and I do have the Jets winning this game, whether it's Zach Wilson, whether it's Mike White. You've got a warm weather team traveling, playing in 35-degree rain. It is not a good situation. The Jets are good enough to win this game at home, and Jacksonville, for as good as they've been, this is more of a bad weather situation and a decent defense. The Jets have a good enough defense, I think, to win this game 20-17. Garrett Wilson, the superstar young receiver, really developing for the Jets. Give me New York in a pick'em game. Actually, I've seen a few sports books that actually have Jacksonville as 1-point favorites. I think New York is good value coming off that close loss when really they should have beat Detroit even without Mike White. If Mike White would have played that game, they were 100% beating Detroit. I don't care what anyone says. The Jets win this game at home, thanks in part to the weather, 20-17. Moving to the 1 o'clock games. So guys, I'm just going to say we have huge weather implications in a lot of these, including the Thursday night. But this game, we're talking about negative 25-degree wind chills, wind gusts over 40 miles per hour. New Orleans is a dome team. It is a terrible, terrible situation. The over-under on this game is 32, and I would take the under. I just simply don't see New Orleans, a dome team, scoring all that many points. The Browns were just involved in a 13-3 win at home. Another very low scoring game. The Browns with the run game get it done in really bad weather here. I've got them winning this game 17-7. Again, guys, the issue is, I mean, they're projecting right now it to be 7 degrees, but with 25 miles per hour winds and 40 mile per hour wind gusts, there's going to be a wind chill warning on Christmas Eve for this game. It's going to be terrible. And again, New Orleans is a dome team that does not have a good quarterback situation. They will simply not score. I'll take the Browns -3, just like I took them last week, -3 against Baltimore, and they covered. They'll cover. The under will hit again. It's due to the weather situation there. Next, we have Cincinnati traveling to New England. New England coming off that miserable loss on, the last play of the game, just crazy. Cincinnati gets the win on the road in Tampa Bay. But guys, if you actually look at Cincinnati's offense, they were really bailed out in Tampa by many Tampa Bay turnovers, easy short fields. I'm kind of down right now on Cincinnati's offense. I think they win this game, but because New England's at home, they've got a very good defense. Bill Belichick, especially at home, it's going to be cold weather, and really just Cincinnati not impressing me or really moving the ball at all against Tampa. Again, it was just short fields, very little overall yardage. I'll take Cincinnati to win this game. Maybe I'm being a prisoner of the moment and they really turn it on. But in a situation where Cincinnati struggles last week, now they're going into another a really cold weather environment in New England against a good defense at home. New England's at home. Yeah, guys, I just don't see this being a high-scoring game. Cincinnati wins because they've been good, but if you can get New England plus 3.5, I think that's the play. If it gets bet down to 3, I'm not interested. But if you can get them plus 3.5, I think that's the play. Next, we have Detroit traveling to Carolina to take on the Panthers. So the Panthers, if you're a Panthers fan, you should be praising your team's performance this past week in the home loss to Pittsburgh. You want to lose these games. There's no reason to win them. You're trying to get a top 5 or top 3 pick to get a Bryce Young, to get a CJ Stroud, to get a Will Levis, to get your future quarterback. There's no reason to win these games. Detroit, on the other hand, they're a team with a lot of momentum. Really, honestly, they should probably be tanking as well.
But listen, is Jared Goff their future? Not really. Still, it's good to see a young team be in the playoff hunt. Overall, I have Detroit winning this game just based off of motivation and momentum. They seem to have it. The overall analytics say Carolina should actually win this game, or they've got a better than 50% chance. But I'm rolling with the hot team. I'm rolling with the team that really is young and is finally experiencing some success. Carolina, on the other hand, should be honestly trying to lose these games. There is no legitimate reason to win any of these games. It does not help you. It only hinders your future. Try and get the best draft pick as possible. Your future quarterback is not on your roster. He's not developing. Sam Darnold obviously is not the future. I don't know why they're playing DJ Moore. If he has any type of injury, just rest him. It's better for your future. I will take Detroit winning this game outright, 20-14 there. Next, we have Seattle traveling to Kansas City. Single-digit temperatures here. Very, very cold. Seattle kind of fizzling out. The Geno Smith hype dying down, really. And guys, right now, I think Patrick Mahomes, after the Jalen Hurts injury, smells an MVP. And even in the bitter cold, I see Mahomes going for 3, maybe 4 passing touchdowns and really possibly pulling ahead for the MVP. Right now, the overall odds are tied. Jalen Hurts, Mahomes with Josh Allen and Burrow inside of the top 4, but it's really right now the top 2, Jalen Hurts, who's dealing with an injury, and Mahomes 9.5-point favorites. The Chiefs have had issues covering spreads. Recently, the game against Houston, they went to overtime. The game in Denver when they didn't cover. So I think they're due for a cover. They're at home. It's very cold. Seattle is a team, they've really kind of petered out. I've got Kansas City winning this game easily and Mahomes really driving home his MVP narrative in that one. Next, we've got a little AFC, NFC. Buffalo traveling to Chicago. Very cold, expected to be 5 degrees. It should not be an extreme wind chill in this one like in Cleveland, but obviously going to be very cold. Buffalo sitting at 9-point favorites. And guys, Buffalo is in a stretch right now where they haven't covered like 4 or 5 straight spreads. So normally I don't do this, but I do have this as a push. It's just tough to really predict for me. It seems like Josh Allen is really turning it on and playing better, not turning the football over at all, maybe even making a late MVP push, and Justin Fields can really generate points. He's got 1,000 yards rushing even after missing a game with an injury, so certainly Chicago can score, but Buffalo, let's be real, they're still in contention, I believe, for the number 1 overall seed. It would be huge if they got it. But overall, I will take them to win this game 30-21. I'll take the over in this game, even due to the weather and the extreme cold temperatures. Both of these offenses with good dual threat quarterbacks can both put up points. Next, we have Houston traveling to Tennessee. Guys, I'm just going to be honest. I think Tennessee rolls over and dies in this one. It's a situation where Tennessee is a dome team playing in 15-degree weather on the road. Tennessee has a good defense. Houston, they're trying to make sure they get the number 1 overall pick. I think their record right now is 1-12-1. So it really is a funny record, but they're making sure they lock up Bryce Young, they lock up that pick. And Tennessee really did have a good defensive performance on the road against the Chargers. I have to give them credit for that. They seem like a team that's well coached, that's not going to let Houston beat them. And the other thing is Houston has gone through a few straight games where they've covered spreads. So I think they're due to get blown out in this one. Very cold. They're going to roll over and die. They're going to struggle to score in the temperature, in my opinion. Next, we have the Falcons traveling to Baltimore. Another situation where it's a very cold weather game. It's a dome team traveling on the road. Desmond Ridder, they ended up covering that spread, shockingly enough, in New Orleans and only losing by 3 points. But that game, for most of it, was very uncompetitive. Atlanta could not move the ball. Baltimore has such a good defense. I feel like if Atlanta scores 10 points, I'm going to be surprised just based off of this situation. Lamar Jackson should be back. I think they're pretty safe to cover the touchdown spread at home, even though their offense has been struggling. Again, Lamar Jackson expected back. Atlanta with Desmond Ridder did not look good last week. Baltimore has a really good defense. They held Cleveland to 13 points in their loss. Give me Baltimore to get back on track and get an easy home win in that one. Next, we have the Giants traveling to Minnesota. And guys, Minnesota coming off that ridiculous comeback victory. I think it catches up to them. The Giants have been playing solid football. Minnesota's defense has really been hit or miss. They've turned the ball over a ton. We saw all of the miscues against Indianapolis in the first half. The Giants really are a team that isn't going to beat themselves. Daniel Jones has done a better job as his career has progressed in terms of not turning over the football. They have Saquon Barkley. I think Daniel Jones gets it done here with his legs as well. They win this game in a close, higher scoring one, 28-24, and they get a little upset there because Minnesota's really due for a loss. There's only 2 4 o'clock games on Christmas Eve. You've got the Commanders traveling to San Francisco. And this is just such a game that the Commanders keep close for some reason. I understand San Francisco has a loaded roster, but I will say I think the Commanders plus the 7 is great value facing Brock Purdy. Again, I know we've seen San Francisco blow out Tom Brady. Even with Brock Purdy, I get it, but it just feels like this Commanders team, everyone's down on them after the Sunday night loss to the Giants at home. They're going to come back. They're going to keep this game close, surprisingly. Again, if you've got plus 7 for a team that is competitive against a rookie quarterback who was a 7th-round pick, you have to take the overall value in the plus 7, in my opinion, on the Commanders. Even though San Francisco has a really loaded roster, they still are going to be missing Deebo Samuel as well. So I think the Commanders keep this game close. I'll take the 49ers because their roster is so ridiculous and loaded, and they still need to win these games for the playoff picture. The Commanders do as well, certainly. They're still in it. But, I mean, the roster disparity is just too much. I can't pick the Commanders to upset them outright. Next, we have Philadelphia traveling to Dallas. This is the big game of the Christmas Eve afternoon. Dallas jumped to 6-point favorites right now, guys. That's mainly due to the Jalen Hurts injury. And what it comes down to is I really think Jalen Hurts is going to try and play in this game. If we're being honest, this is probably Jalen Hurts' one chance in his career to win the MVP. I realize he's young, but it just feels like everything has come together this season for Jalen Hurts. I'd be really surprised if he had a season as good as this one throughout the rest of his career. I think he's really going to try and play. And the thing is, if he plays injured and he goes into Dallas and wins, he basically locks up the MVP. But you also have to think of it, Philadelphia already sitting with their record. There's no reason to play Jalen Hurts technically on a short week because these games are on Saturday because of Christmas. There's no real reason to play him. Even before this week, I had Dallas winning this game after losing to Jacksonville. They lose to Jacksonville in overtime. That's a tough situation on the road. They're going to win this game with their offense, whether or not Jalen Hurts plays. I've got them at 35-24. Of course, if it is confirmed that Hurts is healthy and playing, I would make this game closer, but right now I have it at 35-24. Dallas gets back on track after their road loss, and Philadelphia, it's really 50-50 on if Jalen Hurts plays. I could see it both ways. For his MVP race, he needs to play, but in terms of Philadelphia already locking up the playoffs and trying to keep him healthy, it's better that he rests. So there's an argument for both. I do have Dallas winning this game and covering the new 6-point spread. This game opened Dallas -1, but when the news came out that Jalen Hurts might not play, it got bumped up to 6. Moving to the Sunday night game, we've got the Raiders in Pittsburgh. Another very cold game. 10 degrees for this game. And normally you would say, well, you're certainly going to take Pittsburgh at home. But guys, this feels like a Derek Carr special. A Derek Carr Christmas Eve miracle on the road. They win this game because Derek Carr just has these random games. 20-17, it'll be lower scoring. But I've been really good at predicting when Pittsburgh wins and loses. Like the last 5 weeks, I've got it right. I think they lose this game as 2.5-point favorites. Even if Kenny Pickett comes back, we'll have to see whether it's Pickett or Trubisky. The Raiders keep this game close. And really, the Raiders are a total crapshoot. You know, whether they win or lose, it's always a coin flip. It's always, do they have the ball last? Do they make some crazy fluky play? They really are a fun team. I'll take them to win this game on Christmas Eve against really a bad quarterback situation right now in Pittsburgh. Even if Kenny Pickett starts, he's still a rookie that is learning. Moving to Christmas, this is the 1 o'clock game, so there's 1 o'clock game, 4:30, and then an 8:15 game.
This is the 1 o'clock game. It is Green Bay coming off their Monday night win, traveling to Miami. And guys, this is your typical Aaron Rodgers Christmas Day miracle on the road. They win this game outright as 4-point underdogs. They've got a good rushing attack. Aaron Rodgers is developing chemistry with his rookie receivers. They still do have an outside chance to make the playoffs. They need the Commanders to lose the rest of their games, which the Commanders might when you look at their schedule. It's very tough. And then they also need a few other things. But I think the way Miami's been playing, really they were lucky to be in that game against Buffalo. You look at their rushing output, they got extreme contributions on the ground. Normally, they don't have that good of a rushing game. I have confidence Green Bay will shut them down and make them totally one-dimensional. It should be a more fun, higher-scoring game on Christmas afternoon that I think Aaron Rodgers pulls out late and wins. Next, we've got the 4:30 game, completely meaningless. You've got to feel bad. I think Romo and Nance are calling this. If I'm Romo and Nance, I'm like, listen, I know it's in our contracts. We'll give back the $1 million or whatever it is. We want to spend Christmas with our families. Who would want to waste a Christmas calling this game? Denver traveling to LA. Both don't have their first round picks. Both are dealing with massive injuries. Completely meaningless. Right now, the Rams 1.5-point favorites. Russell Wilson is playing in this game. Of course, if Denver had their first round pick, there is zero chance Russell Wilson would be playing in this game because they would be trying to lose to get a better pick. But because they don't have their first round pick, there's no reason for them to lose. And same thing with the Rams. The Rams never have their first round pick. I think this is a Baker Mayfield Christmas Day special. After performing really bad on Christmas last year, who really knows with this game again? I'll take the home team because they looked motivated, and they did play Green Bay relatively tough, although they did lose 24-12. Still, who knows? I'll take them to win 24-21. It just feels like that kind of year for Russell Wilson. It really does. And then moving on to the Christmas Day primetime nightcap. They did a bad job picking these two games for Christmas. It is Tampa Bay and their disappointing season traveling to Arizona. The Kyler Murray injury. There's really no reason for Arizona to win this game. We saw how bad their offense looked with Colt McCoy in Denver. Tons of money coming in on Tampa. They're all the way up to 5.5-point favorites. And even with Tampa Bay struggling, I just don't see Arizona scoring enough points to keep this game close with their coaching situation. They've got pretty much a lame duck head coach. It'd be better for them to lose these games and get as high as a draft pick as possible. So I see Tampa Bay still maybe with an outside shot, possibly can make the playoffs in that bad division, winning this game 26-16 there. And then the Monday night game, it is the LA Chargers traveling to Indianapolis. The Colts coming off that 33-0 blown lead. Guys, at some point, I feel like Indianapolis is going to blow someone out, and I'm just going to keep predicting it until it happens. Indianapolis has to be completely demoralized. Jonathan Taylor, they're saying he's done. They're trying to lose these games. It's better for them to get a better draft pick. Jeff Saturday is the most interim coach possible. Indianapolis knows there's no point. The Chargers, on the other hand, they've won some games. They're getting more healthy on offense. I see them really covering and playing well. Justin Herbert playing in a dome, he should be completely fine, and they should be able to put up some more points than they did last week against Tennessee, because this Indianapolis team just has nothing to play for, and I feel like they're going to be completely demoralized after that epic blown lead they had on Saturday. So guys, that's going to do it for my official Week 16 NFL picks and predictions. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.